Chosen one, pause everything. Right now. This is not a coincidence, not a random moment you stumbled upon. This is a divine appointment, a sacred whisper from Jesus himself, crafted for your heart, your soul, your destiny. The world has been loud, hasn't it? The weight of doubt, the sting of rejection, the endless questions about when your breakthrough will come. They've clouded your vision. But hear this clearly. Jesus has an urgent message specifically for you, and it's burning with purpose. Do not ignore this. Picture a radiant scroll unfurling in the heavens, your name etched in golden light, carrying promises that have been waiting for this exact moment to unfold. You've been through storms, chosen one, but those storms weren't sent to break you. They were sent to shape you. Every tear, every sleepless night, every door that slammed shut was part of a divine preparation, a holy refining of your spirit. Jesus sees you. He's been walking beside you even when you felt alone. And now he's speaking directly to your soul, urging you to rise, to step into the abundance and divine purpose that have always been yours. This video is not just another message. It's a spiritual awakening, a clarion call to shake off fear and embrace the prosperous life God designed for you. The unique angle of this message is clear. Your deepest fears, the ones that keep you up at night, are not barriers. They are the very keys to your greatest breakthroughs. What if the anxiety you've been wrestling with is actually a signal that your divine provision is closer than ever? Jesus is saying, do not be afraid, for I am with you. Isaiah 41:10 echoes this truth. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. You're not here by accident. You're here because heaven has orchestrated this moment to pull you out of survival and into overflow. Imagine a river of blessings, peace, clarity, financial freedom, waiting to flood your life the moment you say yes to this message. But you must act, you must listen, you must move. Let's talk about where you are right now. Maybe you're staring at a bank account that feels more like a burden than a blessing. Maybe you're carrying the weight of a dream that feels too big for your resources. Or perhaps you're haunted by the fear that your time has passed, that you've missed your chance. Jesus sees those thoughts. He knows the ache in your heart, but he's here to tell you that your story isn't over. It's just beginning. The struggles you've faced weren't random. They were divine training grounds, preparing you for a destiny so significant it will ripple across generations. Think of Joseph, sold into slavery, imprisoned, forgotten. Yet every hardship was a step toward his divine purpose. Genesis 50:20 declares, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Your pain has purpose. Your delays were divine detours, positioning you for a breakthrough that will not only transform your life, but touch the lives of those around you. Now, chosen one, Jesus is calling you to shift your perspective. Your fears, those whispers of doubt that tell you you're not enough, that you'll never make it, are not your enemies. They're signposts pointing you toward the areas where God is about to move mightily. Fear of failure? That's the doorway to your greatest victory. Fear of lack? That's the threshold of divine provision. Fear of being seen? That's the invitation to step into your calling as a light in the darkness. Matthew 5:14 reminds you, you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. You were never meant to shrink. You were created to shine. And right now Jesus is urging you to stop hiding, to stop doubting, to stop letting fear dictate your future. He's saying, this is your moment. Step into your destiny now. But how do you do that? How do you move from fear to faith, from scarcity to abundance? Jesus isn't just offering inspiration, he's offering a practical path forward. Here are 3 specific, actionable steps you can take today to align with his urgent message and unlock the prosperous life waiting for you. First, write down one bold goal for this week that scares you. Maybe it's applying for that job, starting that business, or reaching out to someone you've been avoiding. Put it on paper and place it somewhere you'll see it daily. Habakkuk 2:2 says, "Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it." Your written goal is a prophetic act, a declaration that you're ready to move forward in faith. Second, call or message someone you need to forgive or reconnect with. Unforgiveness and broken relationships block divine flow. Jesus taught in Mark 11:25, "And when you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins." This step isn't about them, it's about freeing your heart for overflow. Third, take one small action toward a dream you've delayed. It could be researching a course, sketching a business plan, or even praying over that project with bold expectation. Proverbs 16:3 promises, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans." These steps are simple but powerful, chosen one. They're your first moves toward a life of divine provision and personal transformation. If this message is stirring your spirit, if you feel Jesus speaking directly to you, let heaven know you're ready. Type, "I am stepping into my divine moment" in the comments below. Your declaration is a signal to the universe that you're aligning with God's plan, joining thousands of chosen ones who are rising in faith. And if this word is blessing you, consider supporting this ministry through Super Thanks. Your gift helps us spread the message of divine provision and spiritual awakening to more souls searching for their breakthrough. Every contribution is a seed sown into the fertile ground of God's purpose. Now let's go deeper. You might be wondering, why me? Why is Jesus speaking to me now? The answer is simple yet profound. You are chosen. Not because of your accomplishments, not because you've earned it, but because God saw you before you were formed in the womb. Jeremiah 1:5 declares, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Your life is not random. Every struggle, every fear, every moment of doubt has been part of a divine tapestry, weaving you into the person who can carry the weight of this calling. Picture a golden thread shimmering through the fabric of your life, connecting every hardship to a moment of glory. That glory is now. Jesus is saying, "The waiting is over. Your faith journey has prepared you for this breakthrough." Let's make this real with a story. Imagine Sarah, a single mother in her late 30s, working 2 jobs to keep the lights on. She'd always dreamed of opening a small bakery, but fear of failure kept her stuck. Bills piled up and her confidence dwindled. One night, exhausted, she prayed, "God, if this dream is from you, show me a sign." The next day, a customer at her diner left a note with a $50 0-cent tip saying, "Your kindness reminds me of my mum's baking. Keep going." Sarah took it as a nudge from heaven. She started small, baking cupcakes for co-workers, sharing her vision with a friend. Within months, that friend connected her to a local market where her treats sold out weekly. Today, Sarah's bakery is thriving, not because she had all the answers, but because she took one step in faith. Her fear became her fuel. Psalm 37:23 says, "The steps of a good person are ordered by the Lord." Your steps, chosen one, are ordered too. That small action you take today could be the spark that ignites your prosperous life. But what about the doubts that creep in? The voices that say, "You're too old, too broke, too broken." Jesus is speaking to those lies right now. He's saying, "I am the way, the truth, and the life," John 14:6. Your past doesn't define you. His truth does. You're not defined by your mistakes, your bank balance, or the people who walked away. You're defined by the God who chose you, who's funding your destiny with divine provision. Imagine a vault in heaven, overflowing with blessings. Peace, wisdom, wealth creation, joy, waiting for you to claim it. But claiming it requires courage. It requires you to trust that the fear you feel is not a stop sign but a starting line. Positive psychology tells us that fear often signals growth. When you step into discomfort, you expand your capacity for abundance. Jesus is inviting you to expand now, to dream bigger, to live bolder, to walk in the certainty that He's already gone before you. You might be thinking, but what if I fail? Chosen one, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every time you fall and get back up, you're building resilience, refining your faith, aligning closer with God's plan. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, but each failure taught him something new. Your setbacks are setups for divine comebacks. Deuteronomy 31:8 assures you, "The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Jesus is with you in every step, every stumble, every victory. Your divine purpose isn't fragile. It's forged in heaven's fire, unbreakable and unstoppable." Now picture this, a door standing before you, glowing with promise, your name carved in light. Behind it lies everything you've prayed for: financial freedom, healed relationships, a legacy of impact. But the handle is on your side. Jesus is saying, "Open it, trust me. Your destiny is waiting." Those 3 steps, writing your goal, forgiving someone, taking action, are your keys. They're not just tasks, they're acts of faith. Declarations that you believe in God's promises more than your fears. And as you move, heaven moves with you. Angels are dispatched, resources are aligned, doors are unlocked. This is what it means to live in divine flow, where fear becomes fuel and faith becomes overflow. But what if the fear you're facing is the very doorway to your divine provision? What if the doubts you've been battling are the final tests before your breakthrough? Jesus is urging you to keep going, to trust that He's already cleared the path. Stay with me, chosen one, because the next part of this message will reveal how your smallest acts of obedience can unleash a flood of abundance you never imagined possible. Chosen one, let's dive deeper into this sacred moment, where Jesus' urgent message is not just a call but a divine pull, drawing you closer to the life you were always meant to live. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast ocean. Waves of possibility crashing at your feet, each one carrying whispers of abundance, clarity, and purpose. The fears that once held you back, those towering shadows of doubt, lack, and unworthiness, are beginning to dissolve under the radiant light of God's truth. Jesus is speaking to you now, not from a distant throne, but as a friend who knows every crack in your heart, every dream you've whispered in the dark. His message is clear. Your time of waiting is not a punishment. It's a preparation for a destiny so vast, it will redefine everything you thought was possible. You might feel the weight of the world pressing against you, bills stacking up, opportunities slipping through your fingers, or relationships that seem to drain more than they give. But Jesus sees beyond the surface. He sees the resilience in your spirit, the faith that's carried you through valleys no one else could understand. He's saying, your struggles were not in vain. They were forging you into a vessel of glory. Romans 8:28 declares, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Every moment of hardship has been a brushstroke in the masterpiece of your life. painted by the hand of a God who never wastes a tear. Your fears, chosen one, are not chains, they're chisels, carving out space for divine provision to flow. Let's make this vivid. Imagine a woman named Rachel in her mid-40s who spent years pouring her heart into a non-profit to help struggling families. She faced rejection after rejection, grants denied, donors backing out, her own savings dwindling. Fear told her to quit, to play it safe, to settle for a life of quiet survival. But one evening, as she prayed over a stack of unpaid bills, she felt a stirring in her spirit. A whisper, "Keep going. I am your source." Instead of giving up, she took a small step. She shared her vision with a local church group. One member, moved by her passion, connected her to a philanthropist. Within weeks, Rachel's non-profit received its first major grant, enough to not only keep it afloat but to expand its reach. Her fear of failure became the bridge to her breakthrough. Psalm 37:5 says, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will do this." Rachel's story is your story, chosen one. That small step you take today, fueled by faith, could shift the trajectory of your entire future. Now, let's address the fear that's whispering in your ear, the one that says, "What if I'm not ready? What if I'm not enough?" Jesus is countering that lie with a truth that echoes through eternity. You are enough because He is enough. Philippians 4:13 proclaims, "I can do all this through Him who gives me strength." Your readiness doesn't come from your resources, your experience, or your confidence. It comes from the God who chose you, who equipped you, who's funding your destiny with divine provision. Think of Moses, a man who stuttered and doubted himself, yet God used him to part the Red Sea and lead a nation to freedom. Your limitations are not roadblocks. They're invitations for God to show up in ways that leave no doubt of His power. You've already taken the first steps toward your divine moment, writing that bold goal, reaching out to forgive or reconnect, and acting on a delayed dream. These are not just tasks. They're sacred acts of obedience, planting seeds in the fertile soil of God's promises. But Jesus is urging you to go further, to lean into the rhythm of divine flow. This isn't about striving or chasing, it's about aligning. Imagine a dancer moving effortlessly with the music, every step perfectly timed, every gesture full of grace. That's you, chosen one. When you trust God's timing, your life is becoming a dance of faith, where every move draws you closer to a prosperous life, overflowing with blessings. If this message is igniting a fire in your soul, if you feel Jesus' voice resonating deep within, let the heavens know you're ready to embrace your destiny. Type, "I am walking in divine flow" in the comments below. Your words are a declaration, a beacon that joins you with countless others on this faith journey, creating a community of chosen ones rising together. Share this moment, chosen one, because your boldness could be the spark someone else needs to step into their own breakthrough. Let's talk about what it means to live in divine flow. It's not about having all the answers or a perfect plan. It's about trusting that the God who called you is faithful to complete what He started. 1 Thessalonians 5:24 says, "The one who calls you is faithful, and He will do it." This faithfulness isn't limited to spiritual blessings. It extends to every area of your life. Financial freedom is part of God's plan. Healthy relationships? They're on the horizon. A legacy of impact? It's already written in heaven's blueprint. But divine flow requires you to release the need to control every outcome. Think of a river. It doesn't force its way through the landscape. It flows, carving paths where none existed. Your job is to stay open, to keep your heart soft, to trust that every twist and turn is leading you to abundance. You might be wondering, how do I stay open when life feels so heavy? The answer lies in shifting your focus from what's missing to what's promised. Positive psychology teaches us that gratitude rewires our minds, turning scarcity into possibility. Try this. Each morning, name 3 things you're thankful for, no matter how small. A warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, the breath in your lungs. This practice isn't just feel-good advice. It's a spiritual discipline that aligns you with God's abundance. Psalm 104 says, "Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise." Gratitude is your gateway to divine provision, chosen one. It's how you invite heaven's overflow into your everyday life. Now, let's get real about the people around you. Not everyone will cheer for your rise. Some will question your boldness, others will envy your peace, and a few might even try to pull you back into old patterns. Jesus faced this too. Misunderstood, criticized, betrayed, yet he kept his eyes on the Father's purpose. John 16:33 reminds you, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." Your calling is too significant to be dimmed by others' opinions. Surround yourself with those who see your light and fan your flame, people who pray for you, challenge you to grow, and celebrate your victories. These are the divine connections God is sending, the ones who will walk with you into your prosperous life. Imagine this scene. You're standing in a vast field, golden sunlight pouring over you, a gentle breeze carrying the scent of possibility. In your hands, you hold a single seed. Your faith, your obedience, your trust in Jesus' message. The ground before you is fertile, ready to receive what you plant. Every step you've taken, writing that person, acting on your dream, has prepared this soil. Now, Jesus is saying, plant boldly, trust me to make it grow. 1 Corinthians 3:6 says, "I planted the seed, Apollos watered it, but God has been making it grow." Your small acts of faith are seeds, chosen one, and God is the one who brings the harvest. That harvest could be a new opportunity, a restored relationship, or a financial breakthrough that defies logic. Whatever it is, it's coming, and it's bigger than you can imagine. But here's the question that's burning in the air. What if the very thing you're afraid to release, control, comfort, familiarity, is the key to unlocking the divine purpose Jesus is calling you to? What if letting go is the step that sets everything in motion? Stay with me, chosen one, because the next part of this message will reveal how surrender becomes the spark for a life of unstoppable abundance. Chosen one, you're standing at a sacred crossroads, where Jesus' urgent message is not just a whisper but a roaring call to step fully into the divine purpose he's carved out for you. Imagine a towering oak tree, its roots deep in the earth, its branches reaching toward the heavens, unshaken by storms. That's you, right now, rooted in faith, stretching toward a destiny that's been waiting for you since before time began. The fears that once felt like chains are loosening, and Jesus is saying, let them go. Your divine moment is here. This isn't about forcing your way forward or proving your worth. It's about surrendering to the flow of God's plan, where every step you take aligns with a prosperous life overflowing with abundance, clarity, and impact. You've felt it, haven't you? That stirring in your spirit, that quiet knowing that something bigger is coming. Maybe it's a dream you've carried for years, buried under the weight of practicality or doubt. Maybe it's a sense that your life is meant to touch others in ways you can't yet see. Jesus is speaking to that spark, fanning it into a flame. He's saying, your purpose is not a fantasy, it's a promise. Ephesians 2:10 declares, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Your life is no accident, chosen one. Every struggle, every fear, every moment of uncertainty has been a divine setup, positioning you for a breakthrough that will echo beyond your lifetime. Let's paint a picture. Think of David, a young man in his early 20s, working a dead-end job in a small town. He'd always loved music, writing songs in his notebook, but fear of rejection kept him silent. Who am I to share this, he'd think, scrolling through social media, comparing himself to others. One day, feeling defeated, he prayed, "Jesus, if this gift is from you, give me courage." That week, a co-worker overheard him humming and asked him to perform at a local event. David hesitated but said yes. His performance, raw and heartfelt, moved the crowd. A video of it went viral, catching the eye of a producer. Today, David's music inspires thousands, not because he was fearless, but because he took one trembling step in faith. Psalm 138:8 says, "The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Your steadfast love, O Lord, endures forever." Your small yes, chosen one, can unlock doors you never dreamed of walking through. Now let's talk about surrender. It's a word that might make you pause. Surrender sounds like giving up, doesn't it? But in God's economy, surrender is the key to victory. It's not about losing control. It's about trusting the one who holds the universe in his hands. Imagine a kite soaring high above a vibrant festival, dancing with the wind. If it clings to the ground, it's just a piece of fabric. But when it lets go, trusting the wind's guidance, it flies. That's you when you surrender your need to figure it all out, to control every outcome, to cling to what's familiar. Jesus is saying, let go of the ground, trust me to lift you. Matthew 16:25 promises, "For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it." Surrender is your launch pad, chosen one, propelling you into a life of divine provision and personal transformation. You might be thinking, but surrender feels risky. What if I let go and nothing happens? That's the fear talking, trying to keep you tethered to a smaller version of yourself. But Jesus is countering that fear with a truth that cuts through the noise. He's already gone before you, preparing the way. Deuteronomy 31:8 reminds you, "The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." Your surrender isn't a leap into the unknown. It's a step into a path already lit by heaven's light. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't see the harvest the moment you place it in the soil, but you trust the process. Your 3 steps: writing that bold goal, forgiving someone, acting on your dream, are seeds sown in faith. Now surrender means trusting God to bring the growth, even when you can't see it yet. If this message is stirring your heart, if you feel Jesus' call to surrender igniting something new within you, let the heavens hear your response. Type, "I am surrendering to my divine purpose," in the comments below. Your declaration is a sacred act, aligning you with a community of chosen ones who are stepping boldly into their faith journey. Share this moment, because your courage could inspire someone else to let go and soar. And if this word is blessing your soul, consider supporting this ministry through Super Thanks. Your gift is a seed that helps us spread the message of spiritual awakening and divine provision to more hearts longing for their breakthrough. Let's go deeper into what surrender looks like in your daily life. It's not a one-time event. It's a posture, a way of moving through the world with open hands and an open heart. Imagine a traveler crossing a desert, carrying only what's essential, trusting that each oasis will provide what's needed. That's you, chosen one, when you release the burdens of worry, comparison, and self-doubt. Surrender means starting your day with a prayer. Jesus, I trust you with my plans, my fears, my future. It means pausing before a big decision to ask, is this aligned with God's purpose for me? It means choosing gratitude over grumbling even when the road feels long. Positive psychology shows that this mindset shift, focusing on trust and gratitude, reduces stress and opens your mind to new possibilities. Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." That peace is your compass, guiding you toward a prosperous life. You might be wondering, what do I need to let go of? Take a moment to reflect. Is it a grudge that's weighing you down, keeping you tied to the past? Is it a habit like procrastination or self-criticism that's stifling your growth? Or is it a relationship that no longer honors the person God is calling you to be? Surrender doesn't mean abandoning responsibility. It means releasing what's not yours to carry. Picture a heavy backpack filled with rocks of resentment, fear, and doubt. Jesus is saying, set it down. I've got you. Hebrews 12:1 urges, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Your race, chosen one, is toward a destiny of abundance and impact. Let go of what's slowing you down. Let's make this practical. Surrender isn't just spiritual, it's tangible. When you wrote that bold goal, you surrendered the fear of failure by putting your dream on paper. When you reached out to forgive or reconnect, you surrendered pride for the sake of healing. When you took action on your delayed dream, you surrendered procrastination for progress. These steps are your foundation, and now surrender builds on them. It's choosing to trust God's timing when the results aren't immediate. It's refusing to compare your journey to someone else's highlight reel. It's believing that the financial freedom, the healthy relationships, the legacy you're praying for are already in motion even if you can't see them yet. Isaiah 55:9 says, "As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." God's plan for you is bigger than your imagination, chosen one. Surrender lets you step into that vastness. You might be facing a specific fear right now. Maybe it's the fear of starting over, of being vulnerable, or of standing out. Jesus is speaking to that fear, saying, I am your strength. Let's imagine a man named James in his 50s who lost his job after decades in the same industry. Fear told him he was too old to start again, that his best years were behind him. But in a moment of quiet prayer, he felt Jesus whisper, your story isn't over. James surrendered his pride and enrolled in a coding boot camp, something he'd never imagined doing. It was hard, humbling, but he kept going. Within a year, he landed a tech job with better pay than his old career. His fear of starting over became the gateway to a new chapter. Psalm 92:14 says, they will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green. Your age, your past, your setbacks, none of them disqualify you from God's promises. Surrender also means embracing your unique calling. You're not meant to blend in, chosen one. You're meant to stand out, to be a beacon of God's light in a world that's often dim. Maybe you've felt pressure to conform, to shrink your dreams to fit others' expectations. Jesus is saying, be you, fully, boldly, unapologetically. Your quirks, your passions, your story, they're all part of the divine design. Romans 12:2 urges, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renew your mind by focusing on who God says you are. Chosen, capable, destined for greatness. When you surrender the need to please everyone, you make room for the divine connections, opportunities, and resources that align with your purpose. You might be asking, what's next? How do I know I'm on the right path? The beauty of surrender is that it sharpens your discernment. When you trust Jesus with the big picture, you start noticing small signs. A conversation that feels divinely timed, an idea that sparks out of nowhere, a peace that settles over you despite the chaos. These are breadcrumbs from heaven, guiding you toward your breakthrough. Keep moving forward with those 3 steps you've already taken. Keep your goal visible, nurturing it with prayer and action. Keep your heart open to the relationships you're healing, trusting God to restore what's meant to stay. Keep taking steps toward your dream, no matter how small, knowing each one is a declaration of faith. Your surrender is the fuel that keeps this momentum going. Imagine this: a golden horizon stretching before you, the air alive with possibility, every step you take leaving a trail of light. That's your life when you surrender to Jesus' urgent message. You're not just surviving, you're thriving, building a legacy that will outlive you. But what if the next step, the one that feels the scariest, is the very moment where heaven unleashes a flood of divine provision? What if your surrender is the key that unlocks a life you've only dared to dream of? Stay with me, chosen one, because Jesus has more to reveal about how your trust can transform fear into a fountain of abundance. Chosen one, you're now walking in a sacred rhythm where Jesus' urgent message is not just a call to action, but a divine invitation to live in the fullness of your God-given destiny. Picture yourself on a mountain trail at dawn, the first rays of sunlight piercing through the mist, illuminating a path that winds toward a horizon shimmering with promise. Each step you take is a testament to your faith, a declaration that you're ready to embrace the abundance, clarity, and purpose Jesus is unveiling. The fears that once loomed large, fear of rejection, fear of scarcity, fear of stepping into the unknown, are fading like shadows in the morning light. Jesus is whispering, "Keep going. Your divine purpose is unfolding, and I am with you every step of the way." This moment is about more than overcoming obstacles. It's about claiming the prosperous life God designed for you. A life where financial freedom, meaningful relationships, and lasting impact flow naturally from your alignment with His plan. John 10:10 declares, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." That fullness isn't a distant dream, chosen one. It's a reality Jesus is urging you to step into now. Your fears aren't roadblocks, they're invitations to trust deeper, to lean into the God who turns impossibilities into testimonies. Every doubt you've faced, every moment of uncertainty, has been a divine classroom, teaching you to rely not on your own strength, but on the one who holds your future. Let's bring this to life with a story. Imagine Lisa, a 29-year-old teacher who always felt a pull to write a book about her journey through grief after losing her mother. Fear of criticism kept her from starting. What if no one cares? What if I'm not good enough? She'd think. One Sunday, during a quiet moment in church, she felt Jesus nudge her. Your story will heal others. Lisa surrendered her perfectionism and started writing just 10 minutes a day. She shared a chapter with a friend who encouraged her to submit it to a writing contest. To her shock, she won, catching the attention of a publisher. Today, Lisa's book has touched thousands, not because she had all the answers, but because she trusted God with her vulnerability. Psalm 45:1 says, "My heart is stirred by a noble theme as I recite my verses for the King. My tongue is the pen of a skillful writer." Your story, chosen one, is a pen in God's hand, ready to write a legacy of impact. Now let's explore what it means to trust deeper. Trust isn't passive, it's an active choice, a daily decision to anchor your heart in Jesus' promises, even when the evidence isn't clear. Imagine a sailor navigating by the stars, trusting their light to guide him through the darkest nights. That's you, chosen one, when you trust God's word over your circumstances. Your 3 steps, writing that bold goal, forgiving or reconnecting, acting on your dream, are your stars, guiding you toward divine provision. But trust takes you further. It's choosing to believe that the job offer, the healed relationship, the financial breakthrough is already on its way, even if it's not yet visible. Hebrews 11:1 defines faith as confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Your trust is the bridge between your prayers and their answers. You might be wondering, how do I trust when life feels so uncertain? The key is to focus on God's character, not your circumstances. Jesus is faithful, unchanging, and sovereign. Malachi 3:6 says, "I, the Lord, do not change." When you anchor yourself in His reliability, uncertainty loses its power. Try this. Each evening, reflect on one way God showed up for you that day. A kind word, a moment of peace, a small provision. This practice, rooted in positive psychology, trains your mind to see God's hand in the ordinary, building trust that He's working in the extraordinary. Over time, you'll notice a shift. Fear will give way to expectancy, and doubt will bow to hope. Your trust becomes a magnet, drawing divine opportunities, connections, and resources into your life. If this message is sparking a new level of faith in your spirit, if you feel Jesus' call to trust resonating deep within, let heaven know you're ready to anchor your heart in His promises. Type, "I am trusting God's plan for my abundance," in the comments below. Your declaration is a sacred signal, joining you with a global community of chosen ones who are choosing faith over fear. Share this moment, because your trust could inspire someone else to take their next step toward their breakthrough. Let's talk about the fruit of trust. When you trust Jesus with your future, you start to see your life through a lens of possibility. That goal you wrote down? It's not just a dream, it's a divine assignment backed by heaven's resources. That relationship you're healing, it's not just reconciliation, it's a step toward divine connections that will elevate your purpose. That action you took on your dream, it's not just progress, it's a seed planted in the soil of God's timing, ready to bloom into a harvest of wealth creation and impact. Trust transforms how you move through the world. You walk with a quiet confidence, knowing that every need is already met in Christ. Philippians 4:19 assures, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." Your trust is the key that unlocks this overflow. But trust also means embracing your uniqueness. You're not meant to follow someone else's path, chosen one. Your journey, your gifts, your story, they're custom-made for a purpose only you can fulfill. Maybe you've felt out of place, like your dreams don't fit the mold of what's normal. Jesus is saying, "That's because I made you extraordinary." Think of Esther, an orphan who became a queen, not by conforming but by embracing her unique calling. Esther 4:14 says, "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" Your quirks, your passions, your vision, they're not accidents. They're divine signatures, marking you for a destiny that will shift atmospheres. You might be facing a specific challenge right now, maybe a financial strain, a creative block, or a sense of isolation. Jesus is speaking to that challenge, saying, "Trust me to turn it around." Let's imagine a woman named Maria, a graphic designer who lost her biggest client and feared she'd have to close her business. Instead of panicking, she prayed, "Jesus, I trust you to open new doors." She surrendered her anxiety and started sharing her portfolio on a new platform, trusting God to bring the right opportunity. Within days, a startup reached out, offering a contract that doubled her previous income. Her trust didn't erase the challenge, it transformed it into a testimony. Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" Your challenge, chosen one, is the canvas for God's next masterpiece. Trust also means staying open to divine surprises. God's plans often look different from ours, but they're always better. Imagine a chef expecting to serve a simple meal, only to discover a pantry stocked with exotic ingredients for a feast. That's God's way. Exceeding your expectations when you trust His process. Maybe you're praying for a specific outcome, a promotion, a reconciliation, a breakthrough. But Jesus is preparing something even greater. Ephesians 3:20 says, "Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us." Your trust opens the door to these immeasurably more moments, where heaven's creativity outshines your plans. You might be asking, how do I stay steady when trust feels hard? The answer lies in community. You weren't meant to walk this faith journey alone. Surround yourself with people who speak life, who remind you of God's promises when doubt creeps in. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." Find your iron, friends, mentors, a church group who challenge you to grow and hold you accountable to your 3 steps. Share your bold goal with someone you trust. Ask them to pray over your relationships. Celebrate your small actions toward your dream. These connections amplify your trust, turning it into a collective force that moves mountains. Imagine this, a vibrant tapestry unfolding before you, each thread a moment of trust, weaving together a picture of abundance, purpose, and joy. Your life is that tapestry, chosen one, and every choice to trust Jesus adds a new color, a new pattern, a new layer of beauty. But what if the next moment of trust, the one that feels like a leap, is the very spark that ignites a cascade of divine provision, transforming your fears into a fountain of blessings? Stay with me, chosen one, because Jesus is about to reveal how your trust can unlock doors you never knew existed. Chosen one. You're standing in the glow of a divine moment, where Jesus' urgent message is not just a whisper, but a thunderous call, reverberating through your spirit, beckoning you to embrace a destiny that pulses with purpose, abundance, and transformation. Picture yourself in a vast cathedral, its stained glass windows casting kaleidoscopes of light across the stone floor, each beam a promise from heaven, illuminating the path to your prosperous life. The fears that once clung to you, fear of failure, fear of not being enough, fear of what others think, are crumbling like ancient walls, unable to withstand the power of God's truth. Jesus is speaking directly to your heart, saying, "You are ready." Your divine purpose is not a dream, it's a reality unfolding now. This message is about stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be, a vessel of light in a world that desperately needs your unique shine. Your deepest fears, the ones that whisper you're not ready or that your moment has passed, are not obstacles. They're divine invitations to trust God's timing and step boldly into your calling. Psalm 139:16 declares, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." Every step you've taken, every tear you've shed, every doubt you've wrestled with has been part of a divine script, written by the hand of a God who knows your end from your beginning. Your life is a story of breakthrough, and Jesus is urging you to turn the page. Let's ground this in a real story. Imagine Marcus, a 35-year-old mechanic who always felt a pull to mentor young men in his community. Fear of judgment held him back. Who am I to lead? I don't have a fancy degree or a perfect past, he'd think. One night, after praying for clarity, he felt Jesus whisper, Your story is your strength. Marcus surrendered his insecurities and started a small mentorship group at his local gym. He shared his journey, mistakes, triumphs, and all. One of his mentees, a teenager named Jaden, went from dropping out of school to earning a scholarship, crediting Marcus's encouragement. Today, Marcus's group reaches dozens, not because he was flawless, but because he trusted God with his imperfections. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Your weaknesses, chosen one, are where God's power shines brightest. Now let's dive into the heart of this moment, stepping into your authority. Jesus' urgent message is a call to own your divine identity, to walk with the confidence of someone chosen, equipped, and backed by heaven. Imagine a lion pacing in a cage, unaware of its strength until the door swings open. That's you when you embrace your authority, unleashed, powerful, unstoppable. Your authority isn't about arrogance, it's about knowing who you are in Christ. You're not just a dreamer. You're a doer, a carrier of divine provision, a builder of legacies. Galatians 4:7 says, "So you are no longer a slave, but God's child, and since you are his child, God has made you also an heir." As an heir, you have access to heaven's resources, wisdom, favor, wealth creation, peace, that flow when you step into your God-given role. You might be asking, how do I walk in this authority? It starts with recognizing your value. The world may have tried to diminish you, telling you to stay small, to doubt your worth, but Jesus is saying, "You are mine, and I've called you to greatness." Your 3 steps: writing that bold goal, forgiving or reconnecting, acting on your dream, are declarations of your authority. When you wrote that goal, you claimed your right to dream big. When you reached out to heal a relationship, you took authority over bitterness. When you acted on your dream, you stepped into your role as a co-creator with God. Now, authority means living like those steps matter, like your purpose is non-negotiable. It's speaking with conviction, making decisions with clarity, and moving with the assurance that heaven is your backing. If this message is setting your spirit ablaze, if you feel Jesus' call to step into your authority resonating deep within, let the heavens know you're ready to claim your place. Type, "I am walking in my divine authority" in the comments below. Your declaration is a holy act, aligning you with a community of chosen ones who are rising to their God-given callings. Share this moment, because your boldness could be the spark that ignites someone else's faith journey. Let's make this practical. Walking in authority means changing how you show up in the world. It's choosing words that reflect your divine purpose, not your fears. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," try, "God is opening doors for my provision." Instead of thinking, "I'm not ready," declare, "I'm equipped by heaven's grace." Positive psychology shows that our words shape our reality. When you speak life, you create space for abundance. Proverbs 18:21 says, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." Your words, chosen one, are seeds. Speak prosperity, speak healing, speak purpose, and watch how your reality shifts. Authority also means setting boundaries. Not everyone is ready for the version of you that's emerging. Some will resist your growth, not because they don't care, but because your light challenges their comfort. Jesus faced this. Crowds followed him, but some turned away when his truth was too bold. John 6:66 notes, "From this time, many of his disciples turned back and no longer followed him." You don't need everyone's approval to fulfill your calling. Protect your energy by choosing who gets access to your time, your heart, your dreams. Surround yourself with those who honor your purpose, who pray for your success, who celebrate your steps toward a prosperous life. These are the divine connections Jesus is weaving into your story. Let's visualize this. Imagine a crown, radiant with jewels, placed on your head by Jesus himself. It's not a crown of pride, but of purpose, a symbol that you're called to lead, to create, to shine. Every time you doubt yourself, picture that crown reminding you of your authority. You're not begging for opportunities, you're walking into them. You're not hoping for abundance, you're living in it. This crown isn't heavy. It's light, infused with heaven's favor, guiding you toward financial freedom, meaningful impact, and unshakable peace. You might be wondering, what if I stumble? What if I don't feel worthy of this authority? Jesus is ready for that question. He chose Peter, a fisherman who denied him 3 times, yet entrusted him to lead his church. Luke 22:32 records Jesus saying to Peter, "But I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail, and when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers." Your stumbles don't disqualify you, they refine you. Every time you fall and rise again, you're strengthened to lift others. Your authority isn't rooted in perfection, it's rooted in grace. Trust that grace to carry you through moments of doubt, to remind you that you're chosen for such a time as this. Let's talk about the ripple effect of your authority. When you walk in your God-given role, you don't just change your life, you change the world around you. Imagine a pebble dropped into a still lake, its ripples spreading far beyond the point of impact. That's your influence, chosen one. Your bold goal could inspire a colleague to pursue their own dream. Your act of forgiveness could heal a family rift, setting generations free. Your small step toward your dream could spark a movement that touches lives you'll never meet. Isaiah 61:1 proclaims, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor." Your authority is anointed to bring hope, to break chains, to build legacies. You might be facing a specific situation right now, maybe a decision that feels daunting, a relationship that's testing your patience, or a dream that seems out of reach. Jesus is speaking to that moment, saying, "Take authority. Trust my power in you." Picture a woman named Aisha, a single parent who dreamed of starting a catering business, but feared she lacked the time and resources. One day she prayed, "Jesus, I trust you to make a way." She took authority over her fear, catering a small event for free to gain experience. A guest, impressed, recommended her to a corporate client. Within months, Aisha's business was thriving, not because she had it all figured out, but because she claimed her authority to act in faith. Your situation, chosen one, is ripe for a similar breakthrough. Your authority is the key